God humbled me. God is not working with your time. You have a specific time frame, timeline that you are meant to be here and you are to fulfill your purpose. But if you don't, you will leave this earth and the thing that you were meant to do that you did not do, that you decided not to do, will be done by someone else. I just need to have faith for me. My faith is a mustard seed. It is as a mustard seed, and luckily that's all I need. 1% better every day. 1%. That's all you need. You do not need to leap and run and no. Start by just crawling today. Tomorrow, baby steps. The day after that, sweetie, we are jumping. After that, we are leaping one step at a time. 1% better every day. That's all you need. That is all you need. Jesus, Lord, help me. Help me. Live life purposeful. You guys, welcome back to another episode of the Purposeful Podcast. I am your host, Danica Givings, and I'm so excited to be back here with you guys. I just want to say thank you all so much once again for the support and the love that you guys have been showing towards the podcast so far. If you are new here, welcome to the Purposeful family. We welcome you here. We are more than just a podcast. We are a family. We are a community, and we are just here for each other. I promise you that you will never be alone in this space. I just want to say thank you all so much for the love and support that you guys have been showing so far. You guys are the real MVPs. Oh my gosh. Today's episode is going to be really exciting. I'm going to get in depth into something that has really been on my heart this year, because let me tell you guys something. God humbled me. Sweetie, God humbled me. Remember I was telling you guys in the last episode, the introduction episode actually, that you do not want God to show you a thing or two? Child, God humbled me. So we're going to start all the way from the very beginning of my birth. Girl, bye. I'm going to tell you guys from the beginning of the time that I was brought into this world. I think this is such a beautiful story because it has kept me motivated and like really in tune and in depth to purpose. Because even though I would have been going through so much hardship and all the things that would have happened to me in the past, this story has really kept me grounded in believing that there is purpose in everything, and it kept me from giving up basically. So I mean, obviously I don't remember this because it's it was the first day of my birth. So let me take y'all back. Let me put my storytelling skills at work right now. On the 4th of June 1998, it was a beautiful Thursday afternoon. My mom went into labor. All levity aside, let me get into the story. So when I was born at 6.5 months. I was premature. Normally, that is not, what to say, enough time. Well, now there's a lot of technology and a lot of things that would allow you to, keep the child alive. But back then, I mean, I was saying back then like it was long ago. It was the other day. But back then, it was much more difficult. I was born at 6.5 months, and my mom had to do a C-section in order for her to deliver me safely. She was scared. They had to calm her down because when she went in to do the C-section, they were telling her that, your heart rate is too fast. You need to calm down in order for us to do this. They did it. I was born, and they told my mom that I had 3 days, guys. 3 days to live. So they called her in, they told her that, her and my dad, and they had mixed emotions about it. But I honestly believe that it is because of my mom's faith that I am still here. So after they told her that I had 3 days to live, she was there in the hospital, and she was constantly checking on me because you could only go into the incubator ward where they keep the premature kids. You could only go there like every 2 hours or so. Every 2 hours or so. But sis was in there every 2 minutes. I'm pretty sure the doctors were, the nurses, and they were sick. They were absolutely sick of her. But she was in there every 2 minutes. And from what she told me, like, she would go in there and she would, pray for me. She would sing hymns. I grew up hearing my mom singing hymns. Guys, if you are from a Caribbean household and you wake up Sunday morning and you hear those old-fashioned hymns, it's about to be a day of cleaning. When you wake up and you hear, you start listen, those songs be hitting. Those songs be hitting. But when you wake up Sunday morning and you hear those, like, at this point, cancel all the plans that you have for the day, because you are about to be doing some deep cleaning out here, scrubbing steps, washing wares. Like, it was crazy. But she would sing those hymns to me, and she was so faithful, guys. She never lost faith, regardless of what the doctors said. She was there. She prayed. She checked on me. And I truly believe, honestly believe, that it was her faith. Had it not been for her faith, I probably would not have made it. I probably would not have. She said this nurse came in one time and took a blood sample from you. Mind you, she is saying that I was this big. Like, from the tip of my hand to, like, right here. I was this big. Probably like a pong or two at this point. But the nurse, came in and took an entire syringe of blood. I think they needed to do some sort of testing, something of the sort. So they took the blood, and then she went on about to do whatever testing. And about a few hours later, my mom said she came back for another syringe of blood. And my mom was like, what is going on? Because one thing with my mom, she is going to ask questions. Sweetie, she is going to ask all the questions in the world. So they came back for the blood, and when she was about to draw the blood, my mom was there, because remember, she was going every 2 minutes. Many people say it every 2 hours. So she was there and she was observing, and she asked the nurse, she was like, why are you taking more blood from her? And the nurse had an attitude. She was like, she was like, I lost it, with no remorse. I lost it.
What? What?
And whose fault was that, ma'am? Whose fault was that? Poor me, now I'm trying to survive out here, barely hanging on. I was hanging by a thread. And she wanted to take a whole other syringe of blood from me. So my mom was like, no, you can't take it. Like, you can't have another syringe of blood from my child. She's barely hanging on. She is so small. She's fighting for her life. You cannot have another syringe of blood. And she got upset, and then she went to get a doctor. The doctor came and asked, who is Miss Giddings? So my mom was like, me, I'm Miss Giddings. And the doctor was like, what is the message that you sent to me? And my mom, being quick with it, if you want to know where I get my quick wit from, where I respond so quickly, and sometimes I have to take a step back, it's from my mom. Because when the doctor was like, what's the message you sent to me? My mom said, the same message that you got. She told the man, the same message that you got. And they got upset about that. And they told her, she has to leave, but the baby can stay. And my mom was like, no, I came in here to get my child. I came in here to have my baby, and I'm going to take her with me when I'm leaving. So she took me out of all the cotton and the stuff that they had me in, and she took me home. And they were telling her, because you're leaving the hospital and you're removing your child, and we did not recommend that. Basically, you are self dismissing yourself from the hospital. If anything should happen, do not come back. And my mom was like, I would not need to come back here. And she took me home, treated me like a regular 9 months baby. She treated me like a regular 9 months, fully grown, healthy baby. She bathed me even though they told her not to do so, and fed me and the whole enchilada just as though I was a regular 9 months baby. She had to sign me up for clinic. They gave her a paper to take me to a clinic that was for disabled and special needs kids, and she did not take me there. She took me where my other brothers and sisters would go to for their monthly checkup. From there, I just grew rapidly. I was really quiet. I was a really quiet child. According to what my mom said, I would read everything. I was just out here reading everything. I was so smart. I was so smart at like a really young age. I was really good with numbers at a really young age and stuff like that. So my mom was really proud of that. And learning that story, my mom telling me that story made the biggest impact in my life. I kid you not. Made the biggest impact in my life, to where I would remind myself of the fact that the doctors, these people are qualified. The doctors gave me 3 days to live. I'm almost 27 years old. That is the testimony of itself. And that is one of my biggest testimonies, to where I wasn't even supposed to be here according to what the doctor said. And that goes to show, when God has something planned for you, when God has his will set out, there is no one, qualifications and all. You could have all the experiences in the world. There is no one that can speak against what God has set out to happen. It was God's will for me to be here. And I could have been 6 months, 6.5 months, 5. If God said that I'm supposed to be here, and he has a plan and he has a purpose, and his will always supersede anything that anyone else can see. So I always keep that in mind. That has been one of my biggest motivational factors, regardless of the situations and circumstances that I'm facing in at any moment. That reminds me that there is a reason I am here. So though sometimes, you get discouraged, you get worked up about the things that has happened, you're sad, you're depressed. I go through all those things. I do. But I always keep it at the front of my mind that there is a reason that you are here. When the doctor said you had 3 days to live, sweetie, God said no. God was like, nope, So that has been one of my biggest motivational factor. But let me tell you guys how God humbled me. So keep in mind, I always keep this concept of purpose at the front of my mind, right? And I always tell myself there is a reason that I am here. There is a bigger purpose that I am supposed to achieve. I am here for a reason. So I was just, living life, relaxing, just not doing what I'm supposed to be doing, even though God has already put it in my spirit to move, to do this thing, to write this book, to start this podcast. Even though God has put it in my spirit, I would just relax with it, be like, and then the thought of death really, it makes me reflect on life. I know that everyone is aware that we are all going to die. Death is inevitable, right? Death is inevitable. But for me, it's intense. Like, the thought of death is intense. It is like, you have this amount of time. You gotta get going. You gotta get things done. You do not have all the time in the world. This is not an infinite time that you have. So, but when I would think about it, I would be like, I could go to this party. I could relax today, girl. I could just have a drink. I have time. And I always tell myself, God, I'm not going to die now, because God isn't finished with me yet. And so that would allow me to procrastinate, and that would allow me to just take my precious time and just do whatever I want. But one time I was driving, and I don't know if it's just me, you guys let me know, but when God is speaking to you, or when God is speaking to me, it's either in my car, when I'm alone driving, or in the shower. Those are the times I hear God the most, for whatever reason, I don't know. But I was driving, and was I driving? No, this one. Okay, I did get a revelation when I was driving, but this one wasn't it. When I was in the shower, this one happened when I was in the shower. I was in the shower, and having your nice long shower. I'm washing my hair, I'm scrubbing my skin, I'm just getting into my self-care, skincare routine, period per. And God was like, excuse me, tap me on the shoulder. Excuse me, ma'am. And he was like, you can die at any point in time. So that nonsense we be saying, oh, you're not gonna die, I'm not gonna die today because God is not finished. Stop that. Stop that before I have to show you a thing or two. Because sometimes I don't know why we be playing with God. Like, if God won't shut this whole story down, like if God won't shut this whole thing down, like we be playing with God. God is not the one. He's not the one that you should be playing with. So he was like, stop saying that. Stop saying that and get to what I'm calling you to do. Because today, tomorrow, it could be all over. I'm not working with your time. God is not working with your time. You have a specific time frame, a timeline that you are meant to be here and you are to fulfill your purpose. But if you don't, God is not going to work with your time. Oh, she didn't do it today. Let me just give her a few extra. No. You will leave this earth, and the thing that you were meant to do that you did not do, that you decided not to do, will be done by someone else. God is going to assign that purpose to the next person, maybe even in your generation, but it's going to get done. So the onus is on you right now, in this moment, to do what you are called to do, to be intentional about your calling. The onus is directly on you, and it is not God's responsibility to give you the time to do it. It's your responsibility to do it in the time frame that you were given. So that thought really, really humbled me. And it also made me realize that the much we take for granted, the things that are just routine to us. We wake up every day and we go about our day. Some of us forget to pray. We just go about our day and we take for granted the simple things. The fact that you are healthy, the fact that you are happy, the fact that you are in a position where you can afford food, where you have a roof over your head, the very breath in your lungs. You ought to be grateful for. Do not take for granted your time. Do not take for granted the people that God has placed in your life, your family, your friends, your loved ones. Do not take those things for granted. I think that oftentimes we're so accustomed to having these things. We are so accustomed to the routine that we have created. Getting up every day, going to work, you're healthy, you're happy, you're driving. We are so accustomed to the routine that we forget sometimes that we need to show gratitude for these things. There is nothing that we did. There is nothing that I did. There is nothing that I did to deserve the grace that God has put over my life. Like I said, God has called me to a specific purpose, and I have been procrastinating. And I haven't been doing exactly what He has called me to do. And those things that we do daily and the much that we are disobedient to God, we do not earn the grace. You cannot earn the grace of God. You cannot. There is no amount of thing that you can do to earn the amount of grace. The shield of protection that is put over your life every day, sweetie, that is not you. That is not you. That is God. And so God has been doing some stuff, and he's been really opening my eyes to certain things and bringing me to a place of realization that I need to have more gratitude. I really do need to have more gratitude. So I am actively working on that, and I'm actively working on pursuing purpose, not just because your life is a miracle, because I like to say that my life is a miracle, honestly, because if the doctors who have all these qualifications, it's literally qualified to say that based on reasonable facts, based on evidence that are here, based on scientific proof, based on the things that I'm seeing, this child cannot live past 3 days. The doctors literally have the qualifications to say that. But nothing, no one is above the will of God. So if the doctors were able to say that, and my life has defied that, I believe it to be a miracle, and it's no one else but God. And like I was saying, I don't know how else it would have gone, but I believe had my mom not been a woman of faith, had she not been a woman that prays and worships and surrenders to God, that could have gone differently, in my opinion. So I'm extremely grateful for my mom. I'm extremely grateful for her. Even though these things aren't things that I remember, I put myself in the position, and I try to fit myself in the mind frame of what my mom was experiencing. And that takes a different level of faith. I really appreciate mothers. Shout out to all the mothers out there, because you guys really sacrifice so much. And you guys have to have, when you are a mom, you no longer need faith for just you. You need, I barely be having faith for me alone. Sometimes, sometimes I have to be like, Jesus, Lord, help me. Help me.
Help me. Help me.
And it's just me. I just need to have faith for me. My faith is a mustard seed. It is as a mustard seed, and luckily that's all I need to have. So I really need to ask God to help me keep up that mustard seed faith, and it's just me. So shout out to all the mothers out there that has faith for them and their little ones. My mom has 9 of us. 9 of us, and I cannot even begin to imagine the level of patience, understanding, faith, strength. You have to be dealing with your trauma, your experiences, your everyday life. You are still going through the motion as a person. You're still living, you're still experiencing things. And then you have to shield your kids. You have to be strong for them. You have to have faith for them. You have to go through the day for them. Even in the days that you don't want to do anything, you have to get up and do it because you have kids. That is next. And my hats off. Hats off to all the mothers out there. Shout out to you guys, because it really takes a different level of maturity and growth in order to be a mother. And kudos to you guys. I give you your flowers. I give you your flowers, all the mothers out there. So I try to put myself in my mom's shoes to feel what she would have been feeling or experiencing in that moment. You have this child, you have your other younger kids at home. You're now getting this news. You have to go through a C-section. You still have to be strong. When you do go through the C-section, you're being told that your child, you have to make all these decisions. And she kept her faith, and she was so strong. And I really, I love and appreciate my mom so, so much. So having putting myself in that frame of mind, I cannot imagine what I would have done. But I'm so grateful for her and her faith that has kept me. And taking, oh, I'm now realizing this, that even me procrastinating, even me not doing what I'm supposed to be doing, even me telling myself all these negative things, because sometimes when I go through certain emotions, when I go through a period of, just not feeling 100%, my thoughts would be so negative towards my own self. And this is now coming to me as I'm speaking to you guys. That is not even fair to my mom. With the amount of effort and strength that she put into having me here, to keeping me defying the opinions and the professional, logics of the doctors. Even going against all of that. And me telling myself the negative things that would, come to my mind in a certain frame of mind, that is even unfair to her and the effort that she would have put in. So God has really brought me to a place of understanding that do not take for granted time, first and foremost. Do not take for granted time. You do not have infinite and unlimited time here on earth. So let us be intentional about where we spend our time, how we go about our routine, our purpose, being intentional about being grateful, and being intentional about moving forward into purpose. Be intentional about moving forward into your purpose. You do not have infinite time here on earth. You do not have infinite time. And I do believe that purpose is not just, people like to think purpose is intense. It is about, leading a multitude of people. It is about having a platform. It is about singing, dance. Those things are, our purpose is great, yes. But your purpose is what you do best with the least amount of effort. With the least amount of effort. If you find that you can just talk, because some people could talk. Some people could talk. But if you find that if speaking comes naturally for you, maybe that is your purpose. But if you find that you make the best food in your entire neighborhood, maybe that is your purpose. Your purpose is cooking. If you find that you can do hair, nails, you can do these things effortlessly, it takes nothing from you to do it, and you feel fulfilled in that process, that is your purpose. That could very well be your purpose. So I want us to be intentional about seeking after purpose and intentionally walking in that when we would have discovered it. And your purpose, I believe, that is not just for you. It is not just for you. It is for you to affect the life of another in a positive way, for you to make an impact on another person. And I know sometimes we're so frustrated with people because we would have gone for so long trying to help others, trying to be in a position where people can look up to us, or trying to be in a position where we are able to help the people that surround us. And then sometimes I know that it feels as though we're being taken advantage of, we're being abused, used, all these things. Because been there. I have been there. So I understand. I understand the feeling all too well. I really do. But what I want us to do, because a lot of times when we start to feel like that, when we start to feel as though we're being used and abused, we tend to shut the world out. We tend to shut everybody out. Oh, well, I don't care anymore. I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to stick to myself. I'm going to get my money up. I'm going to just focus on me. And while that is good for, I think focusing on yourself is absolutely necessary, but for a season. For a season, zone out, if you will. Solitude. Find yourself in a place of solitude where you decide to be intentional about healing, about learning how to set boundaries, learning how to set boundaries that protects you from being abused, learning how to set boundaries that does not cause you to go above and beyond and push past your limit to the point where you're drained. Because if you are drained, if your cup is empty, how are you pouring into the next person? So be intentional about filling your cup, and then you pour into the next person from the overflow. But do not fill your cup and then put a lid on the top. Do not fill your cup and then you say, oh, well, I'm just going to keep to myself. And you put a lid on the top of your cup and you're full. You're full. You have all this oil. You're full. But you cap it off right there. And you just have it within yourself. You just keep it for yourself. Do not do that. Let us be intentional about, yes, allowing our cups to full, pouring into ourselves, allowing the cup to full, but to the point where it's overflowing. And then you pour into the next person from your overflow. Let us be intentional about that this season. Let us take time to be in solitude, to heal, to learn about ourselves, to understand and set boundaries, and then live life with the intention of not just filling your own cup, but filling your own cup to the point where you're overflowing to pour into the next person. I believe that is what it's about. That is what community is about. That is what life in itself should be about. Not just to fool yourself and just cap off at the top there. Then what is the point? What is the purpose? So I want us to be intentional about that this season, and about definitely setting boundaries and not taking for granted the things that we have. Not making your life so routine that you forget to be appreciative, that you forget to have gratitude, that you forget to even acknowledge the people that you have in your life. Because I know a lot of time we're so accustomed to seeing our family, we're so accustomed to seeing our friends, and sometimes we forget to even give them their flowers. Hug someone today, randomly, your friend, your mom, your dad, and let them know how much you appreciate them. And do not take for granted the time that you have with them, or the time that you have to fulfill your purpose. Do not take that for granted, because God just humbled me and let me know that at any point in time, I can take this away from you. I'm not working with your time. God is not working with your time. You are supposed to fulfill your purpose in this time that you were given. You were privileged. You were privileged to have this time. So make the best of it. Make the best of it and be intentional. Walk in your purpose. And not tomorrow, not next week, not, oh, I'm going to do it later on. Let's try to do, and we do not have to leap. You do not have to jump off and take a big bite of what you cannot chew. No. Small steps. 1% better every day. 1%. That's all you need. You do not need to leap and run and no. Let's start by crawling. We don't have to run. Let's start by just crawling today. Tomorrow, baby steps. The other day we're walking. The day after that, we are just pacing. Quick steps. The day after that, we are running. The day after that, sweetie, we are jumping. After that, we are leaping. After that, we are flying. One step at a time. 1% better every day. That's all you need. That is all you need. So I want you guys to take away that message today. I just wanted to share that with you. I wanted to just encourage you and let you know that you need to be intentional with the time that you were given, with the resources, with the people that are in your life. Be intentional and just understand how to navigate those things properly and just be intentional about everything that you do. I just wanted that to share that with you guys, and now you guys know a little bit more about my little miracle life. So I do believe I'm here for a reason, and I want to thank you guys once more for being here with me and for being a part of the Purposeful family. Guys, let me just say this. I was thinking about a shorter name for the podcast where we can have our little codes, a little short name that I can refer to you guys as, so we can just be a part of this family. Friend of mine, the thought that came to mind was Puff, right? Purposeful, Puff, Purposeful family. Let me know what you guys think. Friend of mine was saying that it's if I get a group of women to come on the podcast, because I will have a group of powerful women to come to speak to the women, and I will also get a group of men to speak to the men, because I do believe that there are a lot of things that we can go to as women. There are a lot of groups and so on, but there are not a lot of those things that men can be a part of. So I do want to have a group of men to speak to our men into this society. You guys, we hear you, we see you. I just want you all to know, men out there, we love you and we appreciate you. We see you. And on this podcast, I'm going to have a group of people for both men and women, because we are a family. A friend of mine was telling me, if I have a group of powerful women on the podcast and the short name for the podcast is Puff, then I can call that episode Power Puff Girls.
Cut the show. I'm done.
What do you guys think? I think it's cute. I really think it's cute. You guys let me know what you think in the comments. And if you have any other suggestions, do let me know. Once again, thank you all for joining me today. Oh my gosh, it is such a pleasure to be here with you guys, to be talking with you guys. I really appreciate you. I thank you for joining me. And I will see you here next Friday. Remember that the audio drops on Apple Podcasts on Thursdays and the video on YouTube on Fridays. So I thank you all so much for joining me once more. I love and appreciate you guys so much. Do continue to like, share, subscribe, and spread the word of the Purposeful Podcast. And I will see you next time, babies. Bye.